Welcome, foolish mortals, to my Haunted Mansion review. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm giving you my review of Disney's Haunted Mansion. This is the movie based on the beloved classic ride from both Disneyland and Disney World, and it is in no way, shape, or form related to the 2003 film starring Eddie Murphy. It's its own new entity. But before I dive into my thoughts on this film, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts or expectations for the Haunted Mansion if you have not yet seen it, subscribe to that notification bell to help me reach my goal of 85,000 subscribers here on the channel, and check out my Patreon link down below for extra content, early access to videos in the Discord server. It's a lot of fun over there. I'm growing that community, so check it out down below. But when it comes to this movie, I'll be honest, it was a pleasant surprise. I went in with little to no expectations, as a lot of Disney ride-based movies just don't really hit for me, and I can say this one landed. It definitely knows what it's going for. It captures this family-friendly, sort of spooky tone through and through. Now, I was surprised because some of the moments in this film were actually pretty scary for a family, and if I was 10 and I watched this, it might have got under my skin a little bit. So it's kind of a tamer thrill or a tamer haunt for the family audience, and we don't really get movies like that anymore. I sort of relate it to if you're going through your library in elementary school and you pick up like a Goosebumps book. That's the similar vibe you're going to get here, where there's some more mature, thrilling moments for sure, but at the same time, it's got some humor. The humor in this movie was a hit, and that might be what surprised me more than anything else. You got a star-studded cast with LaKeith Stanfield in the lead role, Rosario, Dawson, Danny DeVito, Owen Wilson, Tiffany Haddish, Jamie Lee Curtis. The list goes on and on. This is a surprisingly star-studded cast, and the humor was a big hit for me. Like, it got some pretty big laughs out of me, notably from Owen Wilson's character. Really no surprise there. Owen Wilson is one of the funniest people around, and he plays this priest character in the movie, but as we learn more details about him, his character by nature lends itself to some really great jokes. Danny DeVito of, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fame, of course, has some moments here that got me laughing out loud, but it's not all about, the silly humor and the spooky nature of the movie. There's actually some pretty deep moments here, and I think LaKeith Stanfield is actually the anchor of the movie. His performance in the lead role, damn great. There are moments where he almost moved me to tears, and it got really emotional. The movie is heavy at times. I mean, it tackles fatherhood and grieving, and I was really surprised that a movie about the Haunted Mansion ride got that deep, thematically speaking. So hats off, top hats off, I guess I should say, to the Haunted Mansion for really telling this sort of story of moving on in life and grieving, but also fatherhood and filling in a new role. So really well done across the board there. Shout out LaKeith Stanfield. He definitely gave the best performance to me, but like I mentioned, Owen Wilson and Danny DeVito have their comedic chops and moments to shine. I also was really impressed with this movie's ability to pay respect to the classic ride. If you've been to Disney, pretty much any Disney park for that, you've probably ridden the Haunted Mansion, and you know just how iconic it is. The little different sections of the ride with ghosts, they have their own backstory, and this movie sort of fleshes all that out, expands upon the lore of the beloved ride, while making its own unique main plot line. So I was really intrigued by the story here, which was surprising. I thought it was going to be sort of throwaway at times. That's not the case. It pays homage to that ride very, very well. By the way, I'm a Disney World guy, but let me know down below what your Haunted Mansion of choice is. But when it comes down to it, I will say the movie was far from perfect. It had some issues. I want to say, in particular, it had a bit of a jumbled start. There were moments where the editing was a little jarring, and I was sort of like, wait, what's going on here? It would cut from one scene to another, and almost like in the middle of the action of a scene, we would just cut to a fully new location where all the tension had been resolved. So that could throw me off a little bit. I also think there's a bit of a messy start. Like the first act of this movie, I'm sort of confused as to why certain characters are making certain decisions, and it all makes sense within about 30 minutes. It kind of comes together when we get our main crew of characters in the Haunted Mansion location, but everything leading up to that felt like this weird fever dream, like not a real Haunted Mansion movie, just some lost in the shuffle, like 2000s straight to Disney Channel movie. It was bizarre at times, but eventually, trust me, it turns around and becomes that family-friendly sort of adventure in a way. I love Jamie Lee Curtis in the limited role she has as Madame Leota. Jared Leto is actually the Hatbox Ghost, which you wouldn't know it's him unless you read the credits, because it is this CGI character. The voice is very deep. because I did know it was Jared Leto from the credits and I knew he was cast in the film, I could hear his voice at times, but overall, it's not a distinct Jared Leto performance. The movie clocks in at like 2 hours and 2 minutes, which is unnecessary. A movie about the Haunted Mansion could easily be an hour and a half or an hour 45 minutes, so there were definitely pockets of this movie that dragged at times, but I was just impressed with the movie's ability to sort of juggle these serious themes of grief, but balance that out with humor and even some family-friendly scares really well. So I can say that I was impressed with Haunted Mansion. It's by no means like a movie of the year or even close to the best Disney theme park-based ride movie, but it's a movie that when it hits Disney Plus, I feel will even strike with a bigger audience. I'm concerned that audiences might not flock to see this one in theaters because it comes out at the end of July and it's the Haunted Mansion movie, so it not coming out in October is a really big missed opportunity. I do know that October is already loaded with Five Nights at Freddy's. Saw X was supposed to come out, now it's the end, and then you've got that new Exorcist movie, so it's a slam-packed month for horror. Maybe that's why they didn't do it, but I still think a huge Disney property with the Haunted Mansion being perhaps the most iconic ride in the parks, the fact that that didn't come out in October sort of baffles me. So I worry for the movie's box office success because of that, but at the same time, it's a movie that will resonate with a lot of people. Across the board, the cast delivers. It's got jokes that'll make you laugh out loud. It's got some, tame jump scares at times, nothing like on the level of Insidious or The Conjuring, but still has those moments that might make you jump if you're watching or if you're not a fan of horror. This might be a good little intro into that because it's a very tame, like I've said multiple times now, family-friendly movie. But because of that, I think it will be a hit. I enjoyed this Haunted Mansion film. If you want to see my rating out of 5 stars, check out my Letterboxd link down below. But I recommend this if you are a fan of the ride, if you're a fan of Disney, if you like anyone in this cast or anyone involved, you'll get a kick out of this movie, and I can comfortably say that. It's one of the bigger, pleasant surprises of the year. By no means is this movie perfect, like I mentioned. It's riddled with some issues, but fun was had, and I could see myself revisiting this during spooky season for years to come, adding it into the sort of Halloween time movie watch rotation. But what do you guys think of this movie? Let me know in the comments down below with that like button. Again, those are just my quick thoughts on the film. Check out my Letterboxd down below for my star rating. Subscribe to that notification bell to help reach my goal of 85,000 subscribers here on the channel. And of course, check out the Patreon. Also linked down below. Your support goes a long way. You get extra access to videos, early videos, even the Discord server, which we have a lot of fun talking about movies like Haunted Mansion, and so check it out down there. But thank you all so much for watching. That'll do it for my review of the Haunted Mansion, and be careful because a ghost will follow you home.